Dear friend, there are moments in human history that are not merely dots on the endless timeline. They are gateways, openings to new eras of consciousness, moments when transformation doesn't belong to one person alone, but echoes across generations. The story we share today is such a moment, a story of awakening, a journey toward light through the deepest night of the human heart. Siddhartha was a prince who gave up his throne, his palace, his wife and son, and all worldly luxuries to set out on a path in search of the ultimate truth. After many years of severe asceticism, experimenting with countless spiritual practices, from extreme bodily discipline to deep meditative absorption, he finally came to a gentle yet profound realization. Truth is not found in extremes. It lives in the middle way, where mind and body are in harmony, where wisdom walks hand in hand with compassion. Beneath the shade of a great Bodhi tree by the still waters of the Neranjara river, Siddhartha laid down his monk's robe on the ground, crossed his legs in meditation, sat upright, and gazed softly into the distance, where the earth and sky seemed to merge into one. And in that still moment, before closing his eyes, he made a vow. I will not rise from this seat until I attain supreme enlightenment, even if this body withers to the bone and flesh. This was not a desperate oath, but the vow of a heart that had become firm, clear, and unwavering. The vow of a traveler who had weathered many storms and now stood before the final threshold. Siddhartha was no longer seeking anything for himself, nor fleeing from any fear. He simply sat, fully present with the moment, with each breath, with the rustling of leaves, with the silent whispers of Mother Earth. As night gently settled over the forest, a deep silence embraced everything. Only the sound of the wind through the trees and the steady breath of the solitary seeker remained. Beside the river, where moonlight danced across the water, Siddhartha abided in complete stillness. Not the absence of sound, but the absence of all inner disturbance. Yet it is said that when a person nears liberation, the final tests arrive. According to legend, Mara, the tempter, the embodiment of ignorance, craving, and fear, appeared. Mara came not alone, but with an army of distractions, visions of beauty and sensual pleasure, alluring songs and laughter, threatening cries of death, and arrows of doubt, conflict, and judgment. Each appearance was a wave, trying to stir the surface of the seeker's inner stillness. Visions of power, fame, and seduction unfolded before Siddhartha, like flowers blooming in the dark. Laughter, cries, and whispered temptations filled the air. But he remained unmoved, like a mountain, calm, stable, untouched by any oceanal tide. He looked directly at all that arose in the mind, without flinching, without resistance, without clinging. When temptation could not shake him, Mara shifted to fear. Dark shadows, screams, images of death and destruction appeared. Still, Siddhartha remained composed. He had seen through the nature of all phenomena. All things arise and pass away. Nothing endures forever. Finally, Mara released his last weapon, doubt. Mara asked, "Who will bear witness to your worthiness? What proof do you have of your sincerity?" Siddhartha did not respond with words. Instead, he gently reached his right hand down to touch the earth, a gesture that is known as the earth-touching mudra, calling upon the earth itself to bear witness to his sincerity. his boundless compassion, and the countless days and nights of tireless practice that had brought him to this moment. And according to legend, the earth trembled. Beings from all realms appeared, offering their silent testimony to his truth. Mara, with all his forces, had no choice but to withdraw. Only deep silence remained. The night flowed on. In the first watch, Siddhartha contemplated impermanence. He saw clearly that all things, from the body, emotions, thoughts, to the external world, are ever-changing. Nothing is eternal, nothing fixed. With this realization, all grasping, all fear of loss, dissolved. In the second watch, he meditated on interdependent origination. He saw that nothing exists independently. All phenomena, all feelings, all thoughts arise in dependence upon one another. There is no separate self, no isolated entity in this vast universe. In the final watch, Siddhartha pierced through the last veils of ignorance. He saw clearly the root of suffering and the path that leads to its end. He realized there is no permanent I to cling to, no birth or death to be feared, no pain that cannot be transformed. As the first rays of dawn broke over the horizon, a new being emerged in the world. He was no longer Siddhartha the seeker, but the Buddha, the awakened one, who had discovered the light within the deepest depths of his own heart. Dear friend, the story beneath the Bodhi tree is not just the story of one man from long ago. It is a symbol, a mirror for the turning point within each of us. In today's world, amid the rush of daily life, the noise, the pressure, and the struggle, we too may feel a gentle whisper rising within us. Stop. Return. Look deeply. You don't need to sit beneath a Bodhi tree in a distant forest. You only need to sit quietly with yourself, with your breath, with your pain, with your hopes, with your joys, and with the tenderness of your human heart. Sometimes, in just a single moment of deep presence, you may realize that all you've ever been searching for, peace, freedom, happiness, is not far away, not waiting at the end of some distant road, but right here, in the sacred now. When you dare to look into your pain, you give yourself the chance to transform it. When you turn toward your fear, you discover behind it a heart longing to be free. When you let go of the need to be perfect, you touch the deepest truth of who you are, a space of openness and gentleness. The Buddha is not a distant deity, but a symbol of the awakened potential in all of us. The journey to enlightenment is not about seeking something outside, but about coming home to ourselves, to embrace all parts of our being, light and shadow, with compassion. If this story touches your heart, hold it as a seed of awakening. Let it grow in your thoughts, in your actions, in your daily choices. And when you feel lost, remember the image of the monk beneath the Bodhi tree, sitting through every challenge, yet never losing his calm, his clarity. If you wish to go deeper on this path, walk with others who are also seeking. Find a mindful community, practice together, learn together, and grow together. Believe this, every mindful step you take, no matter how small, is an invitation to come home to yourself. Finally, thank you for listening, for giving this story your time and presence. May you have a day of stillness, peace, and inner light. Remember, happiness is not a destination. It is the path itself. Every moment you live fully and honestly with yourself is a moment of true freedom. When life feels turbulent, return to your breath. Return to yourself. That is where peace resides. That is where the meaning of life quietly unfolds. May you always be the one who walks with awareness on the path of your own awakening. If you found this video meaningful, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel. Your support gives us the inspiration to continue creating heartfelt content. See you again, dear friend.